Hello CraftDee Family, and welcome to another tutorial by She's So Crafty. For today's DIY project, we'll be creating a look for less, making this wall decor inspired by a piece that I saw online at Kirklands. Now this DIY is part of a foam and poster board challenge collaborative effort along with several other extremely talented YouTube crafters. Now this means we've all come together and created foam and poster board themed video tutorials, and they have been combined into a playlist that is linked in the description box below for all of you to enjoy. Now be sure to check them out after this video and let them know that She's So Crafty sent you. Now I'm excited to share this tutorial with you, but before we start, I wanted to say hello and welcome back to my amazing subscribers and visitors to my channel. Now if you are a new visitor to my channel today and love to create fun and easy DIY projects on a budget, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and also click that notification bell so you'll be the first to know when a new DIY tutorial is ready to share with you. So let's jump right in. Now here is my inspiration piece for this project. Now I thought this item was so gorgeous, but I didn't want to pay $74 for it, so I decided to create my own version using foam board and grabbed a few extra supplies from the Dollar Tree and my crafting stash. Now for this project, we will need a half a sheet of this white foam board from the Dollar Tree, a roll of this wood grain contact paper from the Dollar Tree. We'll also need a half sheet of this black foam board from the Dollar Tree. Now the first thing we're going to do is unpackage that contact paper, and we want to lay it out with the grain running horizontally. And then I'm going to measure across it 22 inches, which is 2 inches more than the height of the project. And then I want to cut it off with my X-Acto knife, or you can use a pair of scissors. And then I'm going to roll each end opposite of that curling pattern to help it lay flat. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark that back of the contact paper every 2 inches. And this is to cut for blanks. Now, if you want to keep this as one sheet, that's fine, but the blanks give it a more realistic look. Now once you mark it, you can cut it carefully with a pair of scissors, but using an X-Acto knife will give you the straightest and neatest lines. And here are all of your 2-inch strips. So now I'm going to grab that black foam board and I am going to cut it in half. So the total width of the board is 30 inches. So I'm going to measure and mark it and cut it at 15 inch. Now I want to cut it with my X-Acto knife, and the key to cutting crisp lines is to use a fresh angled blade. So now I'm going to take those strips and I want to start to apply them to my board. So as you can see, they are longer than the board, but that is what you want so the edges can be wrapped around the edges. So once you place that strip along the edge, overlap it about ½ an inch on the sides, and then you want to trim and fold over the edges. So now when applying that second strip, you want to leave just the tiniest gap in between the strips to give it a more realistic wood plank look. And then you want to continue with the remaining strips the same way, and these are all the strips applied. Now to reduce that sheen and give it a more worn look, I'm going to go over that contact paper with some sandpaper, and I want to sand lightly across the entire sheet of the board. Now I wanted to add a little bit of texture and dimension, so I'll use this brown and white acrylic paint. So I just want to mix those paints together until I get a light tan color. And then I want to take my chip brush and I want to dry brush that color onto the board, making sure I go in the direction of the grain. Now I'm putting very little paint on the brush, and this gives you a very dry look on your paint. Now once that dries, I am going to take my sandpaper and I want to sand and blend in that distressing with that sandpaper. So now I'm going to take that white foam board and I'm going to cut it in half at 15 inches, just like I did my black foam board. Now this will be the decorative border, so I want to make an 1.5 inch border around the entire edge of the board. Now I originally wanted to go with 2 inches, but I found that 1.5 inch looked a lot better. So the next thing I want to do is to mark that cross section in the middle. Now my ruler was a little short to reach corner to corner, so I just grabbed a scrap piece of wood to help align it and draw my center X. Now that the lines are marked, I am going to mark 3/4 on each side of my X, so the total width of that bar will be 1.5 inches to match the border. And here's how the frame looks when it's all marked and ready. So now all we have to do is to cut out the openings with our X-Acto knife. Now once everything is nicely cut, you want to carefully remove all the 4 triangular pieces. And here is our finished frame. So you can sand off any uneven and jagged edges if you like. So now we're going to take our wood plank background and I'm going to place the white frame right on top. Now you're going to check the fit. Now if the fit is good, all we're going to do is use hot glue to apply the frames together. And once you finish applying it, you making sure you get under all those edges, you're going to let it sit and dry for a few minutes. Now I wanted to add some light distressing to the white part of the frame, so I'm going to use some of this dark brown acrylic paint and I'm just going to lightly mark around some of the edges. And now that that's done, we can add our flower accent. So I'm going to use this small plastic coffee container and I'm just going to remove the labels and lids and clean it thoroughly. Now you can also use a wreath, and I'll link the tutorial in the upper right hand corner of this video and in the description box if you're interested in making that. Now to apply our container, I will be using 2 of these 12-inch zip ties that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. Now I'm going to make a small slice in each inner corner of that X pattern in the middle. And I'm going to start by feeding both of those zip ties through the back to the front of the board. And then you want to take your container and you want to place it in the center and wrap those zip ties around the threads of the container. And then feed those zip ties back through the back on that other side. And then you just flip it over and secure the zip ties together in the back. And now that it's sturdy and in place, all we have to do now is just add your flowers. Now I had these bundles of flowers in my stash. And there it is, gorgeous. Now since this is fairly lightweight, I'm going to add some jute twine with hot glue to the back, and this will hang the entire piece. And here is the final project, you guys. Can you believe that this piece was made from foam board? Now I really like this 2-layer design, and it gives this piece a lot of dimension, and it really resembles real wood. And these sweet flowers really add a pretty pop of color, and they perfectly fit into the project. Now I really love all the details in the wood paneling in this piece, and that distressing really make it stand out. You all have to let me know in the comments if you think this look hit the mark. Listen, if you love high-end inspired tutorials, give this video a thumbs up and let me know what you think. Make sure that you're following She's So Crafty on Facebook for the latest news, sneak peeks, and giveaways. Thank you so much for visiting and checking out my tutorial today. If you like videos like these and you don't want to miss the next one, make sure you're subscribed by clicking that subscribe button below and turning on that notification bell. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.